Pierre-Edouard Boudot, you are Executive Director, Research and Strategy at CBRE France. Thank you for joining us on BiTV.
Thanks for the invite, Etienne. Happy to be with you today.
The pleasure is all ours. Thank you. In a recent study, CBRE analyzed the potential effect that the Olympic Games could have on the property sector. What kind of momentum do you see this major international event give France in 2024 as the Games are approaching?
Yeah, indeed, Etienne, we did a report in January, which is our market outlook, which we do every year. But this time we feel like we had to focus on the Olympic Games that are happening this year now in Paris. And what we say is that obviously these Olympic Games will put France and Paris and the Paris region under the spotlights. It will be clearly a major impact for the region in terms of image, of course, positively, and the global attractiveness, beyond the real estate, of course. Just imagine, the images of skateboard competitions, for instance, in Place de la Concorde, or, horse riding, for instance, in the gardens of Versailles Castle. That's going to be, I guess, incredible. So globally, it is a lot about an image thing. One particularity of these games is that there is only a few sport infrastructure that are new. The vast majority of the competition is happening in existing facilities. And on transport infrastructure, I would say that it's kind of a missed opportunity in the sense that apart from Line 14 and RER, the Grand Paris Express lines will be delivered after the Games. So our take that it will not change the face of Paris or of the Paris region globally. There will be some minor changes that may impact some subsector, of course, in the north, if you take, for instance, Saint-Ouen or Saint-Denis, but globally, it's a lot about the image and the attractiveness of the region.
And if we go towards the property sector, what property asset classes do you see maybe benefiting the most from this momentum brought forward by the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I would say that some have already gained, in fact, in advance of the Games. Of course, I'm thinking of the hotels and retail. If you take retail, for instance, we had a very, very solid leasing activity in Paris ahead of the Games. Of course, for sports goods, for sportswear. It happened mainly in the Champs-Élysées, but not only. You had also some other locations inside Paris that were gaining from these Games. I'm just thinking of one example, which is, On Running, which is a sports brand from, I think it's Roger Federer behind that opened like very recently in Marché Saint-Germain, which again is a different subsector than the Champs-Élysées. If we look at the office market, which of course is one of the main real estate classes still, I would say, in France, what we feel or what we see now is that there is a kind of an acceleration in the deals, leasing deals now, because we see some corporates that like to close those deals before Paris, what I would call the Olympic lockdown, which is so positive lockdown after the COVID lockdown. But there will be this kind of stuff which makes that, for visits or, this kind of activity is going to be difficult. So an acceleration in Q1 with, I guess, some positive numbers in terms of leasing for the office market. And of course, a slowdown in Q2, Q3, at least during summertime, which in fact always happen. Now, probably in 2024, the summer will be a bit longer than what it used to be in the year before.
Interesting. Your study also suggests that 2024 will be the year when investment market picks up again after a very slow 2023. I think from memory, I think it was a minus 51% investment volumes were down in 2023. How do you see this recovery unfolding this year?
Yeah, well, this one is a tricky question, clearly, it's doing this forecast is not easy. what we feel like we touch a low point in 23 and that we are now bottoming out. We have some, weak signals, I would say, that are going in that direction. But the key question behind that is to say what's going to be the shape of the curve in 24 and the years after. I would say that the Kickstarter, the point where everything's going to start, will certainly be around the actions from the central banks, so either the ECB or the Fed, on the interest rates. And so the timing, of course, of the first rate cuts, I would not make any bet here, but you heard about all the projections around, is there summer, spring, or even later than that. But this is going to be clearly a milestone for the investment market that will give some visibility to investors on, what's going to be the new pricing in this new world, and having this risk-free rate being stable on which you can build then a risk premium. So our call is to say that it will take time before seeing decent volumes again. So we'll see an increase in 24 versus 23, but kind of modest. And we also think that we may not see ever what we can call the inflated volumes that we've seen in the past, inflated like recently by the very cheap money. So I would say that the levels we've seen in 2019, for instance, is something that is not on the foreseeable future. So an increase in 24, modest one, and it's not going to be a short term like a sprint for 24. It's going to be more like something that's going to take time, and we think that we're going to be reaching a new top in like 3 years time, 27, 28 maybe, which would be closer to 20-25 billion euros rather than the 30-35 that we've seen again in 19.
All right. Thank you very much, Pierre-Edouard Boudot, for your time, for this valuable insight. Thank you all also for being with us, and we'll see you soon on BiTV.
Thank you, Luc Etienne. Bye-bye.